Welcome to At the Table with D. Monique. Pull up a chair, sit down, relax, and let's chat.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to At the Table with D. Monique. Here we have real conversations with real people sharing their real life story. I haven't seen you all for a while, and I'm happy to see you today. And I'm happy that you tuned into us. You all know the platform has not changed. So before we get into any conversation, you know that we are going to start off with a snack time.
Grab a snack and come back to the table.
So, Melissa, I can't wait to hear about your snack. But before we eat any food on this podcast, we're always going to take a moment to say our grace. So, Melissa, if you would please bow your head with me, we're going to say our grace. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the food that we're about to receive. We thank you for this time of fellowship. And Lord, we ask that the information that is shared during this conversation is able to bless the lives of each listener. And we thank you for this and all other blessings in your son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So, Melissa, you're our guest and we have table manners. Okay. So I want you to tell us what you're snacking on today.
Okay. So my snack is more like candy, but it's good because I suffer with allergies and different things like that. So it's like really good to like soothe, allergies, cough, things like that. And this being the perfect season, for all of that going on, it's called ginger candy. If y'all can kind of see that. And they're not, they're ginger candy gummies. And they are absolutely amazing. Like I get, my godmother actually gave me a whole bag of these for my birthday because they are soothing, relaxing, and they're not overpowering because sometimes, ginger can be overpowering. So they're not overpowering. They're very soothing. And a lot of people don't know about these, because they're very rare. You don't get them in like a Walmart or anything like that. You actually get them in other retail stores, like oddly in like Home Goods. Things like that. And people don't think that, you go to Home Goods to get snacks, but yeah, these are really, really good.
So, Melissa, I actually am familiar with the ginger candies. I haven't tried the gummies. But like if you guys have issues with digestion, ginger is definitely good. Especially expecting mothers. Sometimes they may have morning sickness, so I know that those ginger candies are good, and they're also good to sweeten your hot tea.
Yeah. I did when I'm not feeling well or I come across like a sore throat or anything like that, I always do ginger, honey, and lemon. And I even drop some cough drops in it. And it's a nice little hottie toddy. Really, really nice. And very soothing. It's not overpowering. Like I said, normally ginger can be very like, oh, you got to catch yourself sometimes because it's a lot. But these are really, really good though.
Okay. Well, hey, I like your snack. Well, my snack is kind of a snack lunch, okay?
Oh, okay.
Because I went to a local Indian restaurant last night and I was trying to do portion control. So I only ate half of my meal, and so I was like, shoot, I'm going to share the other half with you guys. So I know it looks kind of odd because I had to put in a bowl and rewarm it, but it is eggplant masala.
Ooh.
Yes, and it is really good. And if you've never tried eggplant and you've been thinking, "Oh, I want to try eggplant," go to an Indian restaurant because yeah, I mean, they have a lot of different eggplant dishes. And there's another one, but I don't want to mess up the name, so I'm not going to say it that I really like. But yeah, whenever I go to Indian restaurants, I always get, or most of the time, I get an eggplant dish. So Melissa, we do eat on here, so you're welcome to open up your gummy, and I am going to take some bites of my eggplant masala.
All right.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
And then I don't know if y'all see it. It even has like a little bit of sugar, a bit of powdered sugar on it. So you get the tang and the sweet. So I'm telling you, it was so good.
Those would be nice to always carry around in your purse. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you probably do. Mm-hmm.
I do. And they come in different flavors. So this is a lemon flavor, but they come in raspberry. They come in an orange flavor, a grape flavor. Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen that brand in the TJ Maxx Marshall Home Goods stores.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Chime?
Mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It just
No.
says, oh yeah, it is. No, it's GEM
Okay.
is the
I'm
brand. And then it
okay.
has ginger candy. And then this one is the lemon zest.
Okay.
But they have different ones, all different types of flavors. So if you don't really care for lemon, you can get a different flavor, but it still gives you that ginger effect, that you need.
Right.
And like I said, it's real soothing to the throat. Like even if you're not sick, just to keep your immune system up, it's good.
Yeah.
And you get a little bit of,
Little.
enjoyable little candy there, just not, too
Yeah.
much.
I'm letting you talk so I can eat. All right.
I know. I see that. It must be real good.
You don't
That's
know.
okay, though. That's okay. What was the name of the restaurant?
It's Curry Hut.
Curry Hut. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know about
Um,
that. Okay.
yeah, if you ever want to go there one day and have lunch. Um, this is probably my second uh favorite one, but there's another one that I really like, and I always go in there to sit down and eat. So if you ever want to go
Yeah,
out
we're
for
gonna have to
Indian
do
food,
lunch there one day. Yeah,
hmm
because I'm real big on trying new things. Because you
yeah,
got to try in order to know if you like it or not.
yeah, and so someone like me who doesn't eat meat, um,
Oh,
whenever,
you're saying you don't eat meat at all.
well, I go a little bit. I would say more plant based.
Okay.
Um, not more. It is a plant based diet, but whenever I go out of town, if ever, I can't find a, quote unquote vegan restaurant, I can always count on going to an Indian restaurant and finding something that I can eat and I don't have to, worry about if it has, like milk or cheese because I can say don't put it in, my food and it's it's already an option on their
Mm-hmm.
menu. So it's easy for me to choose something and be
Okay.
able to have a enjoyable meal. hmm
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I asked Melissa here today to talk to us about retirement. I surveyed some folks who listen to the podcast, and I was like, What is it that you all want to talk about?" And so retirement was one of those subjects that came up. So I asked Melissa to come talk to us, give us some information, and hope this will get you all prepared if you are not already preparing for retirement. Pardon me. The average retirement age is 61 in the US. And then I believe you can draw Social Security at the age of 62. And so, most of the listeners are, mid 30s to 40 plus years old. So if you haven't started, it does give you some more time to prepare. Melissa, tell us about you and your organization.
Yes, thank you so much. I just want to give it back to you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Here, I'm truly blessed and honored to be here today. And so, just to give you a little history of who I am Melissa Chavous with Butterfly Effects Financial Solutions and more. And basically what I do is anything pertaining your overall finances. So whether it be, getting your taxes prepared, I am a certified tax preparer in all 50 states. I am a certified credit repair specialist as well. And I also do things as far as building your personal credit, building business credits, business funding, And even if you're looking to establish a business, I am able to help you in establishing that business, getting all of your credentials together, setting up different things available for you as far as marketing materials, different things that I have to assist in knowing what business credits and business fundings look like, because they're totally different from personal credit. So things like that. And one of my biggest ones is retirement. I have a whole entire section in my personal protection plan that caters to your retirement and your retirement funds and what that looks like. So I'm truly honored and blessed to be here and answer all your questions that you may have and give you some tips and resources to help you as well. Because even if you don't go with me, there's still stuff out there that is really good to use. So I am more than happy to answer all questions.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Let me get a little sip of this.
What you drinking? What's that? Is that lemonade? It looked like a little cocktail. Are we chiming in early today?
No. Actually, it's just pineapple juice.
Okay, you just got it in a fancy glass with a straw. Okay.
Yes, I love this glass.
You should have put some little cherries down in there, make it look festive.
I know, right? I'll do that next time.
Okay.
So, Melissa, excuse me. Melissa, what do we need to do to start to even think about retirement planning? Like, what are the initial steps we need to take?
I would say the first initial step is to definitely look at your overall finances. Take a look. Even though you might have a job and you're working that job and that job is giving you a retirement plan, if you was to leave that job tomorrow, that retirement plan is only going to take you up to that point where you left. So a lot of times I suggest that you work on a personal retirement plan for yourself that's even outside of, maybe a job that you work or, RFA or whatever you have. Just because it brings more stability. Because I have a famous quote that I absolutely love is that the money you save today can save you tomorrow. So you want to, thank you. So you want to make sure that you have an action plan in store for yourself to make sure that you're financially secured at the end of the day. And, not just retirement, but also too, I feel like a will and trust ties into that retirement because it kind of all works together to get you where you need to be. So I'll go a little bit more in depth in that. I have some very important like percentages, rates and different things like that to kind of help, tie that in and what that looks like for you.
Okay. So, what kind of accounts, how do we establish a retirement plan outside of an employer? Because I know that's how a lot of people are planning their retirement. For instance, we live in a military town, right? And so you have a lot of folks who work for the federal government and they're like, oh, well, my retirement is already, established, but that's if they do their, 20 years or 20 plus years in order to actually get the full benefit of that retirement plan. So what are some ways they can do it on their own?
I would say look at even certain bank options. Look at certain bank options that have even retirement plans that are connected together. My system that what we offer here, we have that too. We have it where you can set up a full retirement plan for yourself, get it established, and create things like savings goals. Savings goals are so important because if you establish something where it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind, whatever you're getting paid, that portion of that goes to that retirement fund. And let's just say, for instance, you want to retire. The average retirement normally is at 65. However, due to the economy and the way things are going, people are retiring later and later. And that's unfortunate because honestly, 48% of households at the age of by 55 or older have zero retirement funds available. And that's scary. And so we want to be able to bridge that gap and come up with ways and opportunities to help you. And a good way of doing that is knowing your overall finances, knowing how to reach a certain financial goal, and setting savings in place for that, and holding yourself accountable to those savings to the point where it goes into an actual lock and you cannot touch it. It's not for a rainy day. It is none of that. It is strictly for when you retire, here goes your fund. And so we have that available here, but you can also find it available in other areas. I know SRP Bank, I love their bank. It's an awesome bank to have because they have so many different ways of doing things and getting things together for you. And they have a savings program too. So you don't necessarily just have to go through me for certain things. There's certain other support out there for you just as well. Even on the business aspect of things, South State Bank is really good for those type of things too. Let's just say, for instance, because I'm a business builder. So for me,
Right.
even sometimes it's hard for entrepreneurs because why? They don't have a W-2. Right. They don't have a retirement coming to them in a job related way. So we have to figure, as entrepreneurs, we have to figure out another way, right? Right. Even down with healthcare, we have to figure out another way to kind of, bridge that gap. So there's certain ways and opportunities to do that.
Okay, let me ask you this, because I know a lot of people are probably thinking, I barely have enough money now, with inflation right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you what I would think, but I want to ask you the question. They're probably thinking, I probably have barely enough money right now. The price of food is going up. Everything is so expensive. How do I save for retirement? My answer to them would be, first, you need to establish a budget or a spending
Mm-hmm.
plan,
Mm-hmm.
because people think like a budget and spending plan is something that you do as you go along, whereas I believe it's something that you do before the month comes in. So before, like, so say you're in the month of February. I'm sorry, we're in January. Before February comes in, you need to already know, okay, this is how much money I expect to come in, and then you set your budget. And it's my belief that you would put your retirement plan or savings in your budget. What would you say, Melissa?
I agree, but I have a little bit more in-depthly plan. So
Okay.
for me, one thing that I would tell you, yes, start with your budget first, because if you don't have a budget, how do you know even where to go? If you don't have a budget or something in place to know where you're at, you have to have a budget. And you also too, you have to know what your debt to income ratio looks like. A lot of people don't even know what that is. They don't know what that looks like. So you have to have that in place, understand the structure and the dynamics of what is coming in and coming out of your household. That's first and foremost. Then the second thing is, I ask people all the time, I said, you know what you love the most? We just talked about snacks, right? What you love the most? What do you pay out for pleasure every week, every 2 weeks, or every month? What is that? Is it you going to Starbucks every day? Is it once a week, you and your husband go out to dinner once a week? Or, you have the luxury in, I don't know, buying your favorite soda every day. Whatever it is, the smallest things sometimes add up to the most. So whatever you love or whatever you're feeding your personal endeavors with of spending habits, break them. And I'm not telling you to break them forever. I'm just telling you to break them for a year, a 2-year. Just stop your overspending habits. And we all have them. I don't care if it's down to the smallest things. We all have them. Like I'll be very transparent. Me personally, I have issues with that even as a financial advisor. We all got that. We all got that one thing where, you know what, we can make a sacrifice here. We can downplay this. And if you do that, take whatever amount that is. Like, perfect example, Starbucks. I used to love Starbucks. I don't do it anymore. But I used to love Starbucks. Starbucks, when I was doing it, was like $5 a cup. Now it's almost like close to $10 a cup.
Yeah, I can believe
it. If you are spending that amount of money on Starbucks every day, do you know what you can save? So if you're getting a cup of coffee, the average cup, $10, and you're doing $10 a day, how much is that over a week? How much is that over a month? How much is that over a year? Okay, we're almost at 1,500.
Yeah.
What could you have done with that money? Right. What could you have done with that money to move it elsewhere? Like I said, my famous quote, save today so it can save you tomorrow. So sometimes we have to make huge sacrifices to gain better outcome later on in life. So I would say whatever your weakness is, try to overcome that and put some discipline behind you. You know, discipline's a big word. Put some discipline behind you, because discipline and sacrifice, that's what finances is all about. And if you don't come to the grasp of the realization of that, you are always going to be robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're not going to move forward if you don't understand structure, discipline, and sacrifices that you have to make financially to get the greater gain later.
Right. So, Melissa, so I know we can have retirement savings. So where would you say to put this savings account so that they can get the most interest on their money?
So I would say ask certain banks that you go into, ask them, you know, hey, if I put this money over here, how much interest do y'all draw from it? Or how much interest can I draw from it? I know this might sound kind of, but I don't really recommend, I don't really recommend going outside sources. A lot of times you can check with your insurance, like your insurance policy, see what they have, but don't go outside of that and say, okay, well, I'm just going to, you know, we love Google. I'm just going to Google it and find me something. Okay. You do that and it might not be exactly what you are really, it's going to be maybe benefiting them more than you. So please be careful in figuring out where you want to store your money at and how you want to store your money. I don't recommend, I also don't recommend, how they say, the old school, keep money under the mattress.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
I don't recommend that. A lot of, you know, people, especially, you know, we're talking about retirement, you know, old school, you know, well, just put it up for a rainy day and just, you know, put it under the mattress. I know my godmother, she literally had money under her mattress, like for real. Like I lifted up her mattress. I was like, God, Mom, why you got all this money under your mattress like this? Yeah, girl. So we're not going to do that, but we are going to find some type of security of placing that. Now, what we offer that in a 2 parts. So our first part is an actual savings goal where we actually hold you accountable to that savings goal, and you can set it for however you want it. Even if you want to set it, say, I want to do a savings goal that is going to last me 5-year, 10-year plan. We have that available in our protection plan where you can save that and we're going to hold you accountable to that. We're going to send you out text messages about it and you are able to save those funds and move those funds over. The other part is that we do have a financial lockbox system where you can actually finalize anything that you have, and look at retirement sometimes as an asset. You want to save your assets. So retirement is one of those assets that you want to save. While you're building and growing and grinding, it's over here building and growing and grinding for you over here.
Right. Let me ask you a question really quick so that when you said don't go to Google, are you saying don't go to Google to find other bank institutions?
No.
What were you?
What I was saying is like other organizations. So like you have other things out here. Like, so if I was just to type in Google and say, hey, I want to set up a retirement plan, they're going to, throw you with different companies that you can go through.
Okay.
Almost kind of like I tell people with when they're trying to restore their credit, buy here, pay here. We're not going to do that. We're not going to buy here, pay here. So it's the same thing when it comes to retirement. Sometimes you don't want to settle or put yourself in a position where you got, a company, and especially if it's a company overseas, you don't know them, you don't know nothing about them. And you're like, okay, well, they told me that I can, it'll only be a 2% interest rate and da-da-da. No. And, so I that's what I wanted to make clear of. No, banks, I absolutely love banks. I think banks are a good resource and tool to have.
Okay. I just want to clarify that. And so let me ask you another question. I'll let you finish and then I'll do a follow up.
I do want to point out a tip. If they're looking for a resource tool to use, it's called Smart Assets. It's a free tool. They can put it in Google and get it. They can download it as an app. And basically what it is, it helps to look at their overall finances, kind of see where they're at. And they're connected to what is it? Fidelity. I think, so they're connected with them, and it is a good tool and tip for them to maybe check out.
Okay. So it sounds like, based on you and I both agreeing about having a budget, getting out of debt should be a part of your plan to prepare for retirement.
Yes. So when I gave you that scenario of 48% of household have, by the age of 55 or older, they have zero retirements and savings. That's because that percentage rate is because they are in debt, or they're drowning in debt, and they're not able to save due to that 48%, because the risk of that is 54% of Americans honestly are at risk of even running out of money because the debt is drowning. So you want to be able to understand how to pay stuff off sooner and quicker and relieve that debt off of you. And that frees up that money. And that it does not free up your money to go on vacations. It does not free up your money to go and do what you want to do with it. No, that's not what it's for. And I'm not knocking vacations. I love vacations now. Please don't misunderstand. I love vacations. I want you to enjoy life. That's what it's all about. But I want you to enjoy life with smart decision making at the same time. And me being a tax preparer, I get so frustrated with my tax clients because I will get them back great money, and then they're going and putting it right back into the system. Why are you doing that? You're putting it right back into the taxpayer dollars that took it from you in the first place. You're going out and, I don't mind going on vacation when you get your taxes. That's fine. What do you? But things like people buy cars every single year after they get their taxes. Why you do that? They, they go out here and buy retail value stuff.
Right.
Major retail value stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the same that took your tax money to begin with. So for me, even when it comes down to taxes and me being a financial consultant to you, I understand that you might have to pay back bills, but what I would recommend is to take your tax return and do a 80-80-10 rule. And my 80-80-10 rule is with everything that I do. 80% is my household, whatever that looks like. That means paying bills. That means running a household. That means putting groceries in my home. That means putting gas in my car. That's the 80. So you want to make sure that you have an 80% of whatever your income is resourcing back out to whatever you have going on. 10% is for your own personal gain, whatever that looks like. And then the other 10% is that investment percent. So that means that investment percent goes to your, either if you want it to go to retirement or you're a business owner and you want it to go to investing back into your business, whatever it looks like, you need to make sure that you gain that 10%. And I tell people all the time, you get a bonus on your check or you work overtime for extra hours. Mm-hmm. Don't take that and blow it. Don't take that and now if you need to take that and pay a bill, cool. I understand that. Mm-hmm. When it comes to taking care of your bills, I'm all for it because I don't want you to go behind. I don't want you to be in debt. Got that. But if you're just doing it and you just want extra money, then put that extra money away. Put that extra, 5, 40, 50, whatever it is that came on your check or however you got it, then put it towards your savings goal. Put it towards your retirement fund. You could always add to it. Always add to it. So I would definitely that would be my suggestion with that is to definitely whatever you have, put it towards something.
Okay. So other than savings, what other accounts can folks establish to, like I said, the people who are, listening to this podcast, they're mid-30s and above. So, yes, we have time, but we don't have a lot of time to, plan for retirement. So, what's some ways that they can really build up these retirement accounts quickly other than just a savings account? Because I would think most savings accounts have maybe a 2% return. I know at one of my banks, I think they have like a 4.7 guaranteed return for a year for certain accounts. Yeah, but we know that changes as well.
Right. So now with ours in our protection plan, there's no percentage. What you save is what you're gonna gain out of it later. You get all your money back however you want to do it. So there's no interest rate or anything like that. With our
protection plan. Tell me.
So we have we have a protection plan that is called United Credit Education Services. Okay. And what that protection plan does and what it comes with is all different types of tools and tips to help you move forward. And you have your own account where you're able to check everything daily. So things like it has a budget plan. It has a debt to income ratio plan. It has a savings plan. It has a financial lockbox. It has credit restoration, credit monitoring, identity monitoring. Rocket Lawyer. That's okay. Rocket Lawyer that you can tap into. No, I'm okay. And we have a will and trust that you can set up. Now, even if you say, for instance, you don't need all of these services in one, you can get them differently. So let's just say, for instance, you just need, most people might just need a will and trust. We offer the will and trust all by itself. We offer a personal secure card that tracks through the 3 major credit bureaus on your behalf And I tell people all the time to pay their bills with it, and it raises their credit score. Because if we're going to talk about budgeting, credit goes right along with that budget.
Right.
So you need to make sure that you have when you're talking about finances and you're talking about budgeting, okay, well, you're talking about debt. And so with that debt, you have certain maybe credit cards. And that's maybe where a lot of people, because me coming from a real estate background, and I had the opportunity of blessing a single mother, where this single mother literally was living off of credit cards. She was in an apartment, and the apartment was extremely high. She was only by herself, had 2 children, and needed the income. So the income was balancing out, but the other outside resources she was using her credit cards for: gas, water, utilities. The only thing that her job was covering was her rent, because the apartment was extremely high. Wow. For a 2-bedroom apartment, she's almost paying at $1,500.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Exactly.
Living, we talked about that earlier, but I mean, it is
extremely
all
expensive
aspects of life. And so unfortunately we have an increased homeless population, but I don't want to go into a tangent about that, but I mean, it's real. So I understand
the testimony behind, right. So the testimony behind her was she wanted to be in a home. And me coming from a real estate background, I understand what that looks like. And she wanted to be in a home because she knows she got a mortgage. It for one, it was going to be hers. So her money wouldn't be going down the drain. It would be invested. Then for 2, she wouldn't have a high bill every single month. Right. And so what I did, I basically took her from credit to closing. And I'm saying this to say is because when she was living off of credit cards, we tapped into her credit monitoring, looked at her overall credit, and she needed her credit on those credit cards. Your credit cards that you use needs to be at least 12% utilization or lower. And if not, that means you're in debt. Regardless of how you look at it, you're in debt. So you need to get your credit utilization to 12% or lower when it comes to those credit card bills. And so that's what our protection plan does. So if you're looking at your overall budget and you're not able to save due to budget issuing, and then you're not able to save for that retirement plan because of budget issues, then we need to understand how to eliminate your debt to free up your money to contribute to your assets.
Okay. And I would say I think I think she had a great goal of having a mortgage versus renting. Not to say that everybody should go out and get a mortgage, because everybody's not ready, and maybe that's not the desire for their life.
Right.
But I would imagine around this time, her rent probably kept going up and up and up. And so she's like, hey, if I get a mortgage, I know what it's going to be. It won't change. And now she, can prepare for her life a little bit better. Because especially with her having children, they need things, or she has increase in their educational expenses or extracurricular activities. Yeah. So
and that's what I love about our protection plan so much, is that it doesn't just get you where you need to be financially. It literally teaches you financial literacy and how to move and how to operate. Because I tell people all the time, yeah, we can do X, Y, and Z, to get you there. I can elevate your credit score, whatever. But if you're looking into home purchasing, I don't want to just get you in the home. I want you to stay in the home. So what does that look like moving forward? It looks like you understanding financial literacy. And for me, financial literacy is big because it takes care of everything. We're talking about retirement right now, but can you truly move forward with retirement and retirement planning if your finances are not together? No. And if you're not really taught how to put that in action or take, the first step of what that looks like, then we're not even going to get there. We're not going to get there. And as we all know, I mean, I'm kind of older, so even the generation after me, even down to our babies that are in school now, they're not teaching financial literacy in school like they should. They might get a little program here and there, depending on the school, because all schools don't have that, because Richmond County is definitely not on that. And me and my mentor, Miss Alina Willis, have bridged the gap in Augusta, Georgia, Richmond County school systems, because we have in our protection plan, we have a YFL program, which is Youth Financial Literacy Program, where we have taught financial literacy to our babies, and they're able to know what a checking account is. They're able to know what a savings account is. They're able to know how to save money and what that looks like. And they're able to fill out a check. They understand what financial literacy is, to the point. Our YFL program, what I love the most about that is that then we're able to give back to the school. So we're able to write a check to the school for us coming in and teaching financial literacy to our kids. Wow. And so that way our kids understand finances, and they're starting to understand the finances early. So that way, that percentage rate that I was talking about, that now we're at 48%, and 55 years or older, they don't have zero retirement fund. But if we start teaching our kids now, when they do get 55, they have a whole entire system backing them up, because they understand finances, and they're not just going to easily put themselves in debt because mama did it or grandma did it, or this is how we do it, so this is how I was taught. No, you start teaching them the right way, the disciplined way, the understanding of it all, and then they have a better source and outcome in life.
Mm-hmm. I have a question for you, and it's not so much about retirement, but it's because you said something. You are teaching the kids about establishing a checking account. I am always so amazed at how many people go to check cashing places and how many people are buying money orders. I really don't understand. I'm not being judgmental at all. I'm really amazed because I don't understand why they're doing that. Because if you have an established bank account, you write a check for your rent. You can write a check for your electricity, your utilities. So, I mean, when you're talking to people who don't have these things already established, what are some of the reasons they're not doing it?
Just uneducated. I'm gonna be completely honest. Uneducated. They're listening to mama them, grandma them. This is how they did it. I'm gonna do it the same way, and just not really understanding or even seeking other guidance. A lot of people feel like they're embarrassed to talk about finances, that they're embarrassed to talk about, their overall finances, because they feel like it's maybe personable, which it is. And sometimes they feel like, that they'll be judged because of maybe decisions that they have made or maybe not made. Things like that all play a factor into that. However, sometimes I feel like we need to maybe put our pride aside to be able to understand, because the knowledge is great. I get that. Knowledge is great. But if you don't apply the knowledge that you have and pour it into others, then it has no effect. So if we're able to pass the baton on to someone else, and if you don't open up your mouth and say, hey, I don't understand this, or I'm not really getting this, I need help. And a lot of people think I need help is a problem, but it's actually really a solution. And if people would tap into more of an understanding that, hey, I don't know it all. Yes, I'm in my 40s or I'm in my 50s and I still don't know how to do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. That's perfectly fine because no one taught you how to do that. It's almost like riding a bike. If you've never ridden a bike before, then once you get on it, no matter what age you are, you're going to fall, you're going to stumble, you're going to do all types of stuff because you ain't never ridden a bike before, no matter your age. And so I think people need to realize it's not about age or even any of that. You know, if you take the time out to really, you know, say, hey, you know what? I really don't understand this. And I need guidance of someone else to help me to understand this. Then we would have a better understanding together of how to move forward. And that's what I do in general. That's why I have my own company along with the organization of the protection plan. Because even signing up for the protection plan, different things like that with United Education Services, which is an outside source, I also am able to bless others regardless of when they opt out the services or whatever, because it's not a contract. I'm still able to give them myself and my company financial literacy for a whole entire year at no additional cost because I understand what it means and what it takes to move forward in finances. So that's a funny fact too that you mentioned that concerning that because I ran into a young lady and bless her soul. I talk about her all the time and she knows it. But I had a young baby. She was maybe about right at 18 years old, and she got a job, a nice job, and they were like, "Hey, well, we need a blank check stub. We need this. We need that." And baby didn't know what a check stub was. So it's things like that is important for us to understand, like in our mind. And once again, like I said, it has nothing to do with age, but just coming to the realization that, hey, I might need help in this area.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people just need some financial basics before they can even think about things like this, think about retirement or buying a home. They just need, like a financial basics boot camp. Yeah.
That's what I'm here
Uh,
for.
yeah,
I
you're on
do
the
that.
financial.
I do financial consulting outside of even the protection plan. You can just come to me, and it's a low rate that I do for that, and I give you tips, I give you resources, I give you different things to kind of help you to put it in perspective. I can sit down and create that. You tell me what your budget plan is. I look at that overall and say, okay, well, if we do this and this and this, it will help to eliminate maybe this that you're having an issue with. So I do take the time to do that if you need, but I must confess, please, I have to say this. I am not an accountant. So for me to try to control your books of where you're at and do that on a month-to-month basis for you, that's not me. Now I have resources and other people that you can go to that are accountants that can help you with that. But me, I'm only your financial guidance to guide you, and you have to put in the work. You have to put in the discipline to do so. But if you're looking for an accountant, then I have resources available for you, but I'm not one of them.
Okay. And do you think it is a wise decision to try to pay off your home before retirement or take it into retirement? Because I know I had a friend that's a little bit older that was saying she was hesitant about paying off her home because there was a annual tax credit she would get, and so she kind of wanted to continue to receive that as she went into retirement. So what would be your advice?
May I ask how old she was?
Like late 50s.
Okay, so in order to do that concerning a mortgage, you have to be 62 or older.
Okay.
You can do a refinance on a home and they will actually start paying for your home. But that's only if you're 62 years or older.
Wait a minute. I don't think that's what she was talking about.
Oh,
But
okay.
no. I don't think that's what she was talking about. But I want you to expand on that because we may have some people that may benefit from this. So tell us, tell us about this.
So if you're 62 years or older, there is where you can, I'm trying to look for my paper on it, but you can basically look at your overall mortgage and be able to refinance that mortgage, or the government can pay for your mortgage or downgrade your mortgage, but you have to be living in the home. You cannot say, because some people will have a tendency to be like, okay, well, my mama is, 65, but, I pay all the bills and yada, yada, yada. Can I do X, Y, and Z? No. If they're not living in the home, or if they, say, for instance, they had to go into a retirement facility, or they had to go into a nursing home or something like that, and you're over the mortgage now because they're in a nursing home, you cannot file for this under that. It's only if they're physically living in the home, they're drawing like things like Social Security or a retirement plan or RFA, things like that. Then they have the option to look into that. And that would be something that they would talk to their mortgage loan to consult with their mortgage loan person about. So whoever originated their loan for them, they would talk to them about that. But they do have that at the age of 65 concerning their house.
Now, okay. If someone is that age, I would imagine at the very least, they've probably been in their home for 15 years. Let's just say at least 15 years. If you've been home that long, is it really a wise decision to refinance?
It all depends. It all depends on what your interest rate was. It all depends on your financial circumstances. So that's why I said it's best to talk to the mortgage loan originator that originated the loan for you, because then they would be able to look back over it and say, okay, according to interest rate, according to what you pay a month on it, according to what we're drawing out of your Social Security, whatever the case is, right? Then they would be able to take a look at that and say, hey, this is a wise decision for you. This is not a wise decision for you. Because it's really based on
that
the mortgage loan originator as far as finances of what they're looking into. I can't speak on it I'm speaking on it very vaguely just because I'm not licensed, even though I know more.
Okay.
And I'm actually in school for mortgage loan origination myself, because I plan on being licensed in 2024. Woo, woo.
Okay.
But yes, but I cannot go any further than that because I am not licensed or certified to explain any more depth in detail of that. But they can always refer back to their mortgage loan person, and they would be able to give them that full guidance on that.
Well, listen, if there's someone that meets those requirements and you think, hey, you know what, I need some help, go see if you can get help. The reason I posed that question to her, because I think it's a good idea, especially if someone can help to reduce your mortgage when you're retired. Because I'm gonna be honest, it really breaks my heart when I see people who I feel like should be retired working because they have to, not because they want to. Yeah, and there's a big difference. People who want to work, they go to work with a different spirit, like they're like, hey, I'm here to help y'all out, but when somebody is there because they have to be, it looks sometimes as if their spirit is a little bit down. You know, they're like, this is not what I want to be doing, but I have to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's another thing. I just want to touch on that because there is when life is too short for you to be unhappy.
mm-hmm.
Don't work a job where you're unhappy, regardless of what it is. Mm-hmm. So for me, I feel like everyone, mm-hmm. even down to older people, I am a big firm believer because I'm an entrepreneur, but I feel that I'm not saying go out and quit your job. Please don't do that.
Right.
Please don't do that. But what I am going to say is that I do recommend everyone to have a side hustle. Mm-hmm. I recommend everyone to have something that is coming into your home, whether it be a weekly, 2 weeks, monthly, quarterly, whatever it is, mm-hmm. something extra coming into your home versus just that paycheck. I recommend that for everyone. Mm-hmm. And, it's almost endless now because I feel that the way of the world is going into an entrepreneur direction anyway. I'm going to be completely honest. I feel like eventually paper money is going to be obsolete. I feel probably another maybe decade it's going to be gone. That's just my personal take. That's just my personal take on it, just because I feel like the world is moving in a certain direction. Y'all ever seen currency? That? Yeah, ever seen that? I know some of us might have, but the younger crowd might not know what I'm talking about. But y'all ever seen the movie, the cartoon show, The Jetsons?
Yes.
The way of the world is going in a Jetsons direction, okay?
Yeah.
Where everything is gonna be computerized eventually. You're gonna have robots. You're gonna have. It's gonna be crazy. I don't think we're gonna have flying. Robots. I don't think we're gonna have flying cars. But we already got remote cars where we ain't gotta go to the pump.
Yeah.
So it's already going in a very cyber direction. So that's why I say when it comes to money and finances, please find something. And if you find something that you love and you're passionate about, God is going to bless you 100-fold with that. Just know that if you put the time, the money and effort into it and you have the passion behind it, God will deliver it on the back end. So sometimes we have to step out on faith to do the things that we need to do because we know that there's a bigger purpose.
Right.
So I'll just, quickly give my testimony about that if you don't mind.
I don't
mind. Me personally, I was, I always had a, even in college and all of that, I always had something on the side that I did do just because that's my personality.
Right.
I've always been a hard worker, but I never looked at me being a full entrepreneur. I always looked at, I'll just do, this is cute. I'll just do a little cuteness on the side and, put gas in my car. Because I was raised up as you work a job for 20, 30 years, you retire and you live happily ever after. That's what I was growing up on. So for me, working a job was everything, right? I'm going to retire here. This is what I'm going to do. But all of that changed when you really hit adulthood. When you really hit adulthood and you see how things are going and moving, it changes a whole lot in your perspective. So with that being said, my testimony is more of that. I was literally working a job, and in that job, I was in the process of purchasing a house for my mother. In that process of me purchasing that home, I was in contact with a realtor, and me and the realtor became really close. Once again, like I said, I do have a real estate background. So with me talking to her, she was like, Melissa, she was like, you really know your stuff. She was like, I want to hire you as my personal assistant. I was like, okay, we didn't even close on the house yet. I was like, okay, good. Okay, yeah, I'll get extra money. Sure. I don't never turn down money.
Right.
And if it's free, it's for me. Hey, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, okay. And so through that process, I was getting discouraged because I ran into some amazing people that their credit score was too low for them to get into the home. Or I met other people where their credit score was great, but they had no money due to bad budgeting.
Mm-hmm.
So I had two different ways of looking at it. I had great credit score, no budget plan. I had bad credit score, but you got a decent budget plan. So how do we bridge the gap?
Right.
And so, with that being said, I asked her one day, I said, look, I said, both of us are losing money at the end of the day. I said, how we fix this? And I said, do you know anyone that can help to restore credit, build their finances so we can bridge this gap? And she was like, yeah, Melissa, I think I do have someone. To make a long story short, she ends up contacting this guy. He is a mortgage loan originator, and see how it kind of ties in a second. But he is a mortgage loan originator, and he has his first option mortgage that's in Atlanta, Georgia, right across from the Atlanta Stadium. I had one conversation with him. I didn't know it was going to turn into an interview, but it turned into an interview conversation. Through that, he hired me that day to come on and help bridge that gap. And so through that, I met another lady that was a part of United Credit Education Services.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, I need to understand how I can get these people's credit up. Right. She was like, hey, we have a whole entire program. It's this, is this, is this. I looked at the video one time. I signed up that day to say, hey, I want to join this organization. I want to join this company, and I want to bridge the gap, and I want to help others. I didn't even question it. And so I was like, okay, we're going to do that. End up doing that to the point I got into the business, started helping my real estate agent that hired me, end up closing on my house, end up closing on 3 or 4 other people through the protection plan. Then from there, and I was in the process of getting my learning about loan mortgages and different things like that. And then from there, I took it on as a resource. And keep in mind, I'm still doing all of this by still working a job. I didn't tell y'all that I did my job went anywhere now. I'm still doing this. I'm still doing this in the midst of a job now.
Right.
So with that being said, I say all of that to say that you can do it. Don't limit yourself just because you have a job and you think that job is too high demanding. Because you can do the smallest things to get results out of. And so through that process, I was able to my job let me go. And the testimony to that is because Melissa was too scared or not willing enough to step out on her own faith. And so sometimes God will remove things away from you purposely to see your full potential and destiny.
Yeah. And
I didn't know that at the time. And then when that happened, I was already set up because let me tell you what United Credit Education Services did for me. They made me understand finances even more. They made me, because I'm a product of the product. So anything that I do, anything that I say, anything that I give to others, Melissa has already been through it. Because how can I give you something that I ain't experienced? Right. How can I impart something to you that I haven't been through? Right. You can't. So I'm a product of the product. And what they did, they gave me financial security, stability. They gave me understanding of how to do it and how to go about doing it. Then they made me into a greater entrepreneur to the point where Butterfly Effects Financial Solutions and more was built. It was built off of that, off of the strength of that. And then that's when I also became a tax preparer. I was already doing taxes on the side for my god sister that is in Camden, South Carolina as a tax preparer. I was a personal assistant for her for many years. And I was like, okay, I need to do this on my own. And so all of that came together in one solid year.
Wow.
And it's been building, and God has been moving and blessing ever since I said, I'm going to let go and let God handle this. I'm going to remove myself completely out of the way, and I'm just going to let God do what he needs to do. And I just pray that he guides me and leads me in the right direction. And when I tell you, it was like domino effects, and it just one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. And keep in mind, I didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
I did not ask. The position where I'm at today is not Melissa, because I didn't ask for it. It's by design. And that's what I want to encourage everybody else. Tap into your purpose, live in your purpose, and understand that there's more of you out there, and there's more out there for you to give. And be able to touch other people and bless other people. As you bless others, blessings will come back to you 100-fold. So tap into that. Get creative, get fun, figure it out, and you never know where it'll take you.
Do it.
So I'm just honored and blessed. Thank you for letting me share my testimony as well.
Listen, I thank you for sharing your testimony, because somebody needed to hear it. We don't know who that somebody is, but there's somebody that needs to hear it, and it's going to help them. Maybe they're in a situation where they're thinking, oh, should I do, opportunity has been presented. Should I do this? And maybe this will help them to decide, yes, I should, or yes, no, they should not. So somebody needs to hear your testimony, and I thank you for sharing it with us. I know we've already been talking for a long time, but I know you mentioned earlier, and I just want you to say it one more time because I forgot. If someone's trying to determine, hey, how much money I need to have to retirement, you said that there's, is it called SMART? Something that they can use?
Yes. So they can use smart assets.
Smart assets. Okay.
And it's all one word. So it's smart asset. All one word. And they can use that tool to kind of help and guide them. It's a free app that they can use. But I would also say that know your budget. Know what your budget is. So that way you can strategically move in the right direction, because sometimes people shoot for higher goals and then they fall flat within 3 months, 6 months. They fall flat because their expectations of what they want is too high for their budget to maintain.
Right.
So know your budget in order to maintain it. And when it comes to retirement, you want to maintain it for a long period of time. You want something where if you're 30 and you want to retire at 62, then you need a savings plan from 30 to 62. And that is something that you're disciplinedly doing every single, I don't know, maybe pay period, every single month, however it is designed for you. Go ahead and start setting that in motion.
Basically, what we're doing is talking to you guys about the first steps. First steps is, like she said, you can use the smart asset or talk to someone like her to determine, okay, how much money do I need to, I'm going to need in retirement. And then you need to have a budget set up. You need to have a plan. Like they have the protection plan that you can use to say, okay, let's go ahead and build this discipline to tell your money where to go. Because if you don't be disciplined now while you're making more money, how are you going to be disciplined when you're retired? Because for some folks, or most folks, when you're retired, you're not making as much money as you would when you're working, whether you're working for yourself or you're working for someone else. And then another takeaway that I got from Melissa is, even when you're retired, have something that you do that can bring you income on a monthly basis. Is that correct,
That's
Melissa?
correct. You hit it
Yeah.
right on the head. That's it. That is
Yeah.
exactly it.
Yeah. And I would
Mm-hmm.
say, go ahead and nothing is always, I'm sorry, not nothing. Things not always long term. So things that you're doing today, those may not be the things that you do in retirement to have additional income. But when you already have a discipline, you already know what you're good at, what you're passionate about, I think it's going to be easy for you to be able to build on those skills and utilize them in other
Mm-hmm.
areas as you retire. And I apologize to you guys for my voice. I, this is that time of year where, the sinuses and, allergens are affecting our daily life. So I apologize to you all for this. Melissa, I want to thank you so much for being here. And I want you to take a moment, tell everybody how they can get in contact with you to utilize your services. So, you can share your phone number, email, your
Mm-hmm.
online accounts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anything you want to share with them so that they can say, hey, you know what? I really like what Melissa was saying and I want to work with her. Give us your information.
Okay, sure. Yes. So I'm on all social media platforms, which I'll give you that. My telephone number is 706-426-9117. And you can call me and leave me a detailed voicemail if I don't answer. But the quickest way is through text message.
Okay.
That's the quickest way to get me, is more through text message than a phone call. Because like today, I'm on a podcast. I'm not going to answer my phone right now. So, it's best to reach me via text. But then my social media platforms is Facebook at Melissa at TES. And that's all spelled out, no symbols, no nothing. That's all spelled out. And then my Instagram is Butterfly Effects Financial LLC. And then I'm also on TikTok. I'm trying to think where else. I think I'm on YouTube too. I don't really use YouTube that much, but I am on there. All under my company name, all under Butterfly Effects Financial Solution. And if you type me in, I do have hashtags. So if you type me in anywhere on any social media, you put in Butterfly Effects Financial Solutions and More LLC, I am going to come up because I'm the only one that is Butterfly Effects, and I'm the only one that has financial solutions and more, because I specialize more than just building your finances. I'm also an interior designer, decorator, and event planner. So I do that on the side. And so
See,
that's
she
where the
still got her
more comes
side.
in at. See,
And
see
see,
how
you
you
still
still
got your
got a
side.
side hustle? Mm-hmm. You got a side hustle. So yes, always have a side hustle to everything you do, even as entrepreneurs. Always have something on the side that you're doing that is building up, because that's my fun, passionate little thing that I like to do. I like to coordinate. I like to decorate. I like to do all of those things. It just brings me joy. So sometimes it's not even about the money. Sometimes you just want to do something because it brings you joy. It brings you peace, So tap into those things just as well as anything else that you do.
Yes. Well,
And my email
again,
address,
oh yeah.
is I forgot my email address. My email address is mchavo. So it's MCHVO 200 @gmail.
Okay.
So I look forward to talking to everyone, meeting everyone. I love to meet new people.
Yeah.
I love networking with people. Cause I believe in that quote to the fullest. Your network is connected to your net worth. I
Yeah.
am a true believer of that. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you all for listening. So happy to be bringing these conversations to you. And we may have to invite Melissa back to talk about helping you all who are entrepreneurs, because this is the time of year everybody is so enthusiastic about trying to establish something on their own. So Melissa, we may have to bring you back. But this has been another great conversation at the table with Monique. So I still want to share you all stories. So if you have a story you want to share, please contact me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I am on TikTok at the table with Monique. All the information will be in your show notes. And so until next time, continue to follow, share, subscribe, and peace. I want you guys to be blessed.
Thank you for joining us today. Come back next Thursday for a new episode of At the Table with Monique podcast. Don't forget to bring a snack.